This recipe for grapefruit curd is straightforward, so I'll just jump right into it. I tested 3 versions and asked 4 neighbor families, totaling 18 people, to do a blind taste test for me. This recipe is voted the best version. The ingredients are simple. First, 1 fresh grapefruit weighs about 350 grams, 5 large eggs, choose the types with larger yolks, some fine sugar, a pinch of salt, and lastly, some unsalted European butter. Cut into cubes and keep them cool in the refrigerator. Before getting on to make the curd, there's some preparation to do. First, zest the whole fruit. You'll get about 2 to 3 tablespoons. Then juice the grapefruit. This one yields 130 grams of the juice after straining, which is exactly the amount needed. Depending on the type, some grapefruit is extremely sour and some slightly sweeter. This will affect how much sugar you use. I used 55 grams in this video, but I used up to 70 grams for more sour types. Next, to a heavy bottom saucepan, separate 3 egg yolks plus 2 whole eggs. Then add salt and sugar. Use a whisk to break the eggs, and then mix to dissolve the salt and sugar. I usually whisk it for at least 3 minutes till the egg proteins are all loosened up. The mixture should stream down the blooms smoothly. Now add grapefruit juice all at once and mix well. Turn heat on to extremely low and heat mixture very gently. Meanwhile, start whisking nonstop. For the first few minutes, it may seem nothing has changed, but you'll find a quick turning point when mixture starts to become thick. Once you do, whisk even more vigorously. This is a process that requires some muscles and patience. After a while, the mixture will stick to the side of the pan, and if running a whisk through it, the sides don't close, this is a sign that it's done. So turn heat off, remove the pan from the stove, and keep whisking to cool it a little bit. Then add butter directly from the refrigerator. Whisk again till the butter cubes are all melted and integrated into the mixture. The curd now looks like this. Run a finger through it, and the 2 sides are thick enough to keep their positions. Pass the sauce through a sieve to get rid of any curdled eggs. Lastly, add a grapefruit zest. Then use a rubber spatula to mix well. Transfer to a glass jar. This recipe makes about 400 ml or a little more than 1.5 cups. Put a cling film on top directly touching the curd to prevent any skin from forming during the cooling. Now, I'll cool it at room temperature and then chill it in the refrigerator. I recommend chilling it for at least 1 day before eating, as it'll taste much better. This is the thickest version among all tested versions. According to voters, this grapefruit curd is creamy and well balanced between sweet and sour. I also find the grapefruit flavor is more enhanced after a few days, probably because the zest releases its oil into the curd. I usually mix the curd thoroughly before applying it to anything else, just like lemon curd. Grapefruit curd accompanies crackers, bread, and cakes well. That said, with the zest in it, the curd may not be the best looking version. So if you prefer a smoother appearance, just add the zest into the whisked egg mixture and follow the rest of the process. The zest will be sifted and discarded, so you will have a silky version. However, I think the key flavor from the zest will be missing, but whichever version you choose depends on your preference. I think it's worth mentioning why I prefer grapefruit curd over lemon curd, because it uses way much less sugar. In some scenarios, can be more than 70% less. So if you're conscious of sugar consumption, this might be a better option. It's also worth mentioning that the types of grapefruit, how big the heat of your stove, and how long you whisk during the whole process will affect the results. In fact, even with the same recipe, my results have never been the same. So learn from your last batch and adjust next time. I hope you will try this recipe, and I'm keen to learn whether your feedback will be consistent with my neighbors. That's it for today. See you next time.